What's good, YouTube, man? It's Easter morning, just out here on the beach. You know what I'm saying? Thank God for waking me up, enjoying this beautiful scene. Right? It's just another day to be blessed. So, for this video, man, I know I've been giving y'all a lot of free game lately, but in this video, I really just want to, break down, my story, how I started trading, things like that, just so you can, reflect off of my story, right? Learn from my mistakes and ultimately get to the success point that you want to get to at a way quicker rate, right? That's my whole goal with these videos I've been making for y'all. Obviously, I want you to get to that success, but way sooner than it took me. So watch all my videos and reflect, take notes, and you should be able to make that success, right? Plenty of my students have made that same success, so have no doubt in you as well. Simple. But like I said, that's not what this video is about today. Really today, I'm just, like I said, enjoying the morning, watching the sunrise. It's Easter morning, and I really just wanted to tell my story. So let's just jump straight into it. First thing I want to start with is really when I discovered trading, right? So, damn, this wind is hitting. Really when I discovered trading, I gotta turn around. So for me, I discovered trading, I was a junior in high school, right? Back a junior in high school. And it was just something I, heard about, seen about online, but I didn't think it was like, a real option for me at the time, right? I'm 16 or whatever back then. I'm like, yeah, like I heard about that day trading stuff. I've been seeing a lot of people, been turning up making money. That's something I want to, I'm talking in the library literally with one of my boys during our free block. I was like, yeah, bro, this looks like something that we should fuck with. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I turn 18, it's up. I'm gonna lock in on this trading shit, it's up. And that was something I said in the moment. It was in the back of my mind, of course, but it wasn't like a set in stone plan. Like, yeah, like for real, like when I turn 18, I'm gonna be a day trader. Like, I wasn't really actually locked in with that, right? Like I said, it was just something I came across, just like drop shipping. I tried that in high school too. It's just something I came across. I saw people making money. I said, you know what? It's like something I could do too. Simple. So I came across trading my junior year, but really nothing that I did with that, with me being introduced to trading, is really nothing I accomplished with that, right? I didn't start really learning much. I didn't really start practicing. I didn't really understand it or anything, right? I just threw it out there. Boom, fast forward to COVID 2020. So that's actually what initiated me starting. I graduated, so I was a senior in 2020, right? I was graduating, just like every other student. Well, not just like every other student. Some of y'all got plans and colleges and shit like that lined up. Me personally, I ain't have all that. My family, I didn't have a structured plan coming out of high school. I wasn't accepted to any colleges and stuff like that. I didn't know what kind of career I was gonna be going for. So, hey, COVID hit, boom, the whole world shut down. What do you do now, right? Me personally, I see that as an advantage. I see that as a time to take advantage, right? Lock in. So me personally, boom, that's when I started trading. And hey, I'm glad I did, and I'm gonna never look back. So I know a lot of people always talk about how, they think it costs so much money to start, or how they don't have much money right now and things like that. Let me tell you what I was doing, right? So I was 17, right? COVID hit in March? I was 17. I think I didn't start till April though. So boom, I'm 17 years old at the time. I can't even open a broker yet. I can't even, you feel me? I'm 17, but had a little workaround, right? Had my older brother set up an account for me, and I got the login information. Boom. I'm still trading my money, right? But I just had to do a little sunrise coming up now, a little bit. But I had to do a little quick finesse so I can get myself in the door. But now I need the money part, right? So me personally, man, hey bro, y'all gotta grind. Y'all gotta hustle and lock in. Me, I was doing Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Instacart, right? So I'm out here hustling, bro. I'd wake up early as shit. 6, 7 a.m. whenever the grocery store is open, bro. I'm waking up dumb early, doing Instacart orders, and then I'm trading when I can, New York session, in the car. I'm not stopping my grind, you feel me? I'm in the car, might pull over real quick, try to trade and shit, catch my setup. I'm still learning at the time, but, boom, trade in the morning. and then get back to it, Instacart until that shit dies out. Boom, switch over to DoorDash. I be doing DoorDash all night. Mind you, I'm not wasting my time listening to music, right? I've heard all these songs over and over. I know every word to the song already, right? I'm not wasting my time anymore. This is, you know, when you get into trading, you gotta realize it's really more about self-improvement, right? You gotta lock in, bro. You gotta spend more time improving yourself and crafting who you really wanna become, instead of just expecting who you already are to get those results that you've never gotten, right? And obviously, to get those results that you've never gotten, you gotta become a new person. Simple. So, me personally, while I'm doing DoorDash, while I'm doing Instacart, while I'm grinding these, busting these orders and shit, at the same time too, I'm listening to podcasts about day trading. You know, I'm watching video tutorials. Hey, I don't recommend you to do that while driving, but I'm watching video tutorials on my laptop in my passenger seat, you know, glancing over while I'm driving, watching. Anytime I was in between orders, didn't have an order, watching videos, looking at the markets, back testing, whatever, right? So I was constantly on that grind and getting that money. Simple, right? And getting that money led me to funding my account, right? So I never started with any funded accounts. You know, I never started with no handouts. I never started with nothing special, honestly, right? Being honest with y'all, I really started with 400 in my account. So the first time I ever deposited, I put 400 in my account, right? Now this is good money to work with because, you know, that range between 1 to 500, that's good money to work with, because as a beginner, obviously you're gonna make some mistakes, right? I can tell you every single thing what you should do, and you're gonna go ahead and still not listen, right? You're gonna go ahead and still not do it. So it's good to work with that range of, you know, 1 to 500, because you're gonna make a couple mistakes, but at the same time too, you're gonna make some money, right? That's the thing about trading that people who've never traded before don't understand. We don't just load up accounts and just, you know, beginners who, you know, gamblers, they don't just load up money and just lose it. You know, they make some, lose some, make some, and then boom, lose it all, right? So, you know, whether you do that once or whether you have to go through that 100 times before you learn your lesson, you might at least do it once, right? So that little 100 to 500 range, I'd recommend. Look, the sun's definitely starting to come up now. I definitely recommend, you know, for that to be a good starting point. So me personally, I started with 400 in my account, and hey, I'm not gonna say it was up from there, but I knew it would be up from there by the time I clicked my first trade. I don't remember what it was. I think I made just like $20, bro. I made $20. Like I placed a pending order, right? I placed to buy you know, I placed a pending order that activated overnight, right? So I went to sleep, I woke up, I checked my trading account, and I was plus $20. Now, I know, you know, this ain't a lot of money, but I was geeked, bro. I was excited as fuck. So what did I do? Go post it on my Snapchat story and shit like that. Mind you, I'm still 17. Graduation didn't even hit yet. So, you know, I got my high school motherfuckers and shit still watching me and shit back then. And fuck. People even had the nerve to swipe up on my story and try to clown me for it. Like, $20, nigga. Like, you could have made that at a job. When you flexing this day trading shit, and you could have made that at a job. Hold on, let me get a good little picture for this sunrise. All right, my fault. But yeah, so I even had some people trying to clown me for it. Like, bro, it's not about the $20 gain. It's about the fact that my money just worked for itself, right? My money, I took my money and I put it in a position for it to create more money for me, right? So that was the first, you know, that was new. And that was an amazing thing for me to see, whether it was $20 or not. So I was excited, I was geeked, and I knew from there, this is something I could do for sure. So boom, like I said, everybody goes through it, right? I'm going through it's called the boom and the bust phase, right? You know, I'm making money because I started off, you know, I practice what I preach, right? You know, I had some mentorship. I had a program that I started up with, you know, doing some live trading, learning and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm making a lot of profits with them mostly, but I was addicted to trading, bro. Like, when I say I would wake up and be on the charts from the moment I woke up till, y'all know when Nas takes a break at 5 p.m. Eastern all the way till 6 p.m. Eastern, bro, I used to be in my room, in the bed, or at the desk, locked in trading, taking 1,000 trades a day until the markets physically forced me to take a pause. And then I'll jump straight back into it, right? I was addicted to trading, so I would make good money, you know, trading with my mentors in my program, but I was just so eager to, you know, excel as a trader to where I couldn't stop myself. So, you know, I really wasn't following a good trading plan, right? I was just building worse and worse and worse trading habits, just trading all day, over leveraging, you know, trying to get rich overnight, over leveraging, trading all day, just doing too much, right? Trying to trade every single pair. I'm trading gold back then, USD CAD, GBP USD, Euro USD, NAS, US 30. I'm trading anything back then, right? I'm addicted to trading at the time, so boom. It took me some months to get over that for sure, but you know, I was making some profits. You know, y'all know I've been documenting my journey on Instagram mainly really since I started, right? I was, hey, y'all saw a young nigga turned up, going on trips and, hey, turning up for real, doing a lot. I was making money, but at the same time, boy, I wasn't obviously to the consistent point where, you know, this is like an income that I can rely on, right? I'm not nowhere near that point, so boom. But yeah, y'all, so, hey, like I said, I was addicted to trading, and I had to get over that hump, right? I had to get over that hurdle of trading all day, taking too many trades, trading every single pair, being in 10, 20 different discords, looking at who's trading what, going on Twitter, looking at who's trading what, right? I was addicted to trading, bro. So when I see people out here nowadays not knowing shit about trading, don't know shit about nothing, buying funded accounts and just blowing them over and over, maybe might get lucky and get a payout once every 6 months. That shit is corny, bro, because we was really in the trenches for this shit. So, you know what I'm saying? Boom. I'm making my couple hundred, turning into a couple thousand, rinse and repeat, right? At one point, I was locked in, bro. Take 200, put that 200 in my account, flip that shit. 2-3 bands by the end of the week. 2, 3, 4, 5 bands, nigga. I was doing that shit, man. I was turned doing that shit, bro. Because you could really take a little bit of money and turn it into a lot if you know what you're doing, right? If you're a really skilled trader and you got good risk management, right? And you got experience, hey, you could be able to do that. So that's, you know, I was making a little bit of money cool at first. And then I started getting to the point where I'm flipping accounts. Not every day, not every time, still blowing some, but hey, I was getting pretty consistent at taking a little bit of money and turning it into a lot, right? And then taking that withdrawal at the end of the week, right? As a trader, you gotta pay yourself. Seeing money on the screen over and over is just dopamine. It's just you gambling. It's just you seeking something, right? Seeking something more than money. Me as a trader, I just wanna make money. So by the time I actually make the money, I actually withdraw the money and actually pay myself, right? Because at the end of the day, if you never get to touch the money or see the money or spend the money, then what was the point? So me, taking 200, flipping it into some bands, withdraw week by week, right? Had a good little period doing that. And then I would say about 8 to 10 months in, I felt like I was good, right? So I didn't have, you know, I left my mentorship program, you know, I said thank you to my mentors, right? But I didn't really need any extra live trading anymore. I didn't really need to ask any extra type of questions anymore, right? I'm independent, you know what I'm saying? And at the time too, is when I discovered ICT, right? So this what really led me to being more independent and knowing that I was ready to do my own thing because, hey, right? I'm making money and I'm doing it pretty well. And now I just learned this new strategy that's hitting at an even higher win rate and even clicks and makes even more sense to me. Boom. So if y'all go to ICT's channel, bro, you see thousands of videos on there and they're all 30 minutes, hour, 2, even up to like 3 hours long, right? Man, I used to grind. If I had my notebook right now, I'll show y'all. I used to grind, watching all the videos, taking all the notes, doing all that I can for my success, right? Putting in the work every day, even when I was already seeing success, still working, right? Just like how right now, some of y'all may look up to me as a trader, but what am I doing right now? Waking up bright and early, still trying to work harder so I can become not only, you know, a great trader, but become also a great mentor, right? Giving y'all free game on YouTube and actually, you know, being someone that's impactful to others, not just somebody who's just flexing and just showing material, right? Somebody to help you get there as well. So, boom, 8 to 10 months in, I was doing pretty well, starting to get pretty consistent. And that's, you know, when I discovered ICT and really started to strap down on his concepts. So, boom, I would say definitely within a year in, oh yeah, I knew, for sure, right? I knew I'm locked. You know, I knew ICT, me, trading, boom, 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 this shit turned, I'm lit, right? I already done went a whole year now. I already done been traveling. I already done, hey, you know, I'm 17. I turned 18 throughout this year. So, you know, I'm 18 at the time, right? You know, Y'all know, young and dumb, right? I bought the designer. I went on the trips, right? I did the fun. Trust, I had fun. But about a year and some change in, that's when I discovered funded accounts. So yeah, I didn't ever trade no funded accounts starting off. You know, I started with just a live account. Like I said, a year and some change in, boom, my first time. I think it took me, it was either my second or my third try, right? So I didn't sit there and blow a whole bunch of accounts, right? The first one slipped up a little bit. I think I did pass on the second one, I'm not sure, but if not the third one, by then, boom, you know what I'm saying? I'm already a trader, I already know how this shit works. So, you feel me? I locked in pretty quickly. And like I said, you know, I've been documenting this all on my Instagram. My fault, y'all had to take a picture. I've been documenting all this on my Instagram. Y'all know this at WOWBREY. So boom, I got funded. I believe it was a $200,000 account my first time getting funded. And man, boy, did this change shit for me. Instead of taking my, instead of taking my money, man, oh yeah, this definitely changed shit for me, especially for how the CFD firms work back then. You know, I know a lot of y'all are getting into trading only know about futures and Top Step and shit like that. You know, how our prop firms used to work back then. You can get access to a larger amount of money. You can get access to a larger amount of payouts, right, on one account. You didn't need 5, 10, 20 accounts back then to, you know, see the numbers that people are doing now. So I had one $200,000 account and I went stupid. You feel me? I was posting videos on my Instagram, you know, me maintaining like a 90 win percentage on that account. And that's when I really took off, right? That's when I started seeing, that's when I said, oh yeah, this is like gonna be my career. Like, I'm doing this shit for life for sure. Now, like, I know I said that last time, but now, oh yeah, I'm turned. You know what I'm saying? So, boom, I started clocking in multiple 5-figure payouts, right? 12K, 15K, 10K, 22K. Like, I was going stupid for a good couple months. And boom, what did I ended up turning 19, right? So I say a good couple months, really, let's just say throughout this second year of trading, right? I got into funded accounts. I figured out what it was, and I had a great year, right? You know, I wasn't, like I said, wasn't just perfect, wasn't just smacking crazy payouts every week, you know, but I was making a good amount of money every month, right? Something you could live off of right now, right? But like I said, I'm 19 at the time. I already, last year, when I was 18 making money, I already bought a lot of designer, went on a lot of trips, you know, restaurants, and you feel me? I had my fun, so I want to set myself up for life, right? So I'm 19 at the time now, making this money. What did I do? Wanted to set myself up, wanted to set up my future for success, so boom, I ended up buying my first home, right? So age 19, actually within 1 month, I ended up buying my first home, and I bought my dream car back then. So, hey, you feel me? I was making that bread, but, you know, I wanted to actually do something that was purposeful, right? Same thing with this video. I wanted to do something that's actually purposeful, and boom, ended up buying my first home. So I had to put a little over 40K down as a down payment, and then obviously, you know, you have to expect to be able to, you know, make that mortgage every month, right? So I ended up living there just a little bit, for not for too long, and then boom, now, you know, it's just an investment property. I rent it out, boom, 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 bada boom. But I'm telling y'all all this because, one, I want to obviously inspire you and show you that it's possible, but two, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this brought a new hurdle to my trading journey though. I'm not gonna lie. So, you know, I was making this money, but I didn't really have too much to worry about. You know, I was just stacking it, you know, I'm just having my fun doing my thing. I don't got too many bills, I don't got too much to worry about. But after taking a large lump sum of money like that, you know, it tricked my psychology a little bit. Now, you know, I'm in that, I'm over here thinking like, damn, like, I gotta make that money back. Not only that, I have to be able to keep making this money so I can pay, you know, keep paying this shit and living this shit, right? And, you know, with me only doing day trading at the time, only, you know, click and buy and click and sell every day, and I was a little bit tough on my mental to just switch over like that, understanding that the fact that, you know, like I said, 40K is not a little bit of money. So me personally, and just like anyone else would think, you know, you're like, damn, I want to make that back now. So what did I do as a trader? I started altering my psychology, and I started, you know, I started trying to scale up too fast without doing the right things, right? So I tried to start getting more accounts, start getting more funds. I tried to start taking more trades, right? Over trading again, right? Falling back into my habits that I grew away from, right? Just because funded accounts is a different ball game, and I had to realize that, right? So I'm over trading again. I'm starting to over leverage again. You know, I'm blowing accounts now. How come I started off on a funded, passed pretty quick, got payouts pretty quick, was maintaining a good win rate easily, and all of a sudden now, you know, I'm starting to struggle. You know, I'm having a down phase. I'm blowing accounts. I'm passing accounts, making a lot of money on it, and then not getting the payout because I fucked up at the end. It's just little shit, right? And I had to get over that. Like I said, it's all about reflecting and, you know, learning who you are and learning who you are as a trader and taking that and just improving step by step, right? So I had to learn that, had to overcome that. But it definitely did put me in a dry state for a little bit of time. So that dry state will definitely fuck up your mindset. And that's why I preach how important it is to y'all, especially as a beginner trader, to obviously have another income coming in when you're going through these mental, you know, some of these mental breakdowns, right? It's going to be up and downs. It's going to be a roller coaster ride, but at the end of the ride, you're going to get off and you're going to be happy. You're going to be ready to ride that bitch again, right? No diddy. So, hey, that's something that I definitely had to overcome. But once I did, right, people was noticing. People were definitely noticing, you know, friends and family back home, you know, locals around me, right? They noticing. And that's when my boy JP came into the picture. So y'all know JP, you know, we do our mentoring together, right? So all of our students, you know, they come through, we mentor together, you know, live trade with them, and then one-on-one mentorship. You know, that's what we do together, just because the same way he came to me is the same way y'all come to us, right? It's that simple. So a lot of people obviously, oh, teach me. And I've tried, right? Throughout this first 2 years I'm telling y'all about, you know, I tried. And I noticed quickly, shit ain't for everybody. Not because it's too hard, because people are just fucking lazy. So I noticed quickly, you know, by even some friends and family, right? And, you know, it feels like a slap in the face when you're trying to look out for somebody and go out of your way to, you know, help them. And boom, they just not taking something that you're passionate about. They not taking it serious. I'm sure y'all have all been there at least, you know, once in your life. So that feels like a slap in the face. That's not the best feeling at all. So by the time JP came around, you know, I'm trading, I'm making my money, but I'm just like y'all though. Y'all know, still to this day, I'm just like y'all though, right? So I'm not, you know, doing the most. I'm still living a regular, cool little life. I just don't gotta worry, you know, stress about work, stress about bills, and, you know, little shit, right? So JP came to me, he said, look, bro, I really, really want to learn this. I said, gang, you know, I'll point you in the right direction. You know, I'll send you a couple links to a couple videos that help me, but overall, I can't really do it. Like, I can't really help you like that too much. I could just tell you what helped me, and you go from there. He's like, nah, bro, please, like, I really want to learn this, boom, boom, boom. Once again, I told him, gang. I told him direct, I told him straight up, I said, bro, I'm not gonna lie, people waste my time too much with this shit. Like, it's not something I feel like wanting to indulge into, and obviously nobody wants to waste time. That's simple. And he told me, look, bro, I'm down to my last $3,000, right? He told me back then he was biking and shit. He was working at Tropical Smoothie, shit. Also in college, also having a life with friends, social life and shit. Man, I ain't gonna lie, he told me he was down his last 3,000, and up front he literally offered me 2,500. I said, hey, you know what I'm saying, I ain't gonna lie, you feel me? I know what I could do with this 2,500 in my trading account. I can turn this into 10 bands plus. So, you know what I'm saying, boom, I took his bread, right? But I ain't just take his bread and, you know, do him slimy, right? I actually really we turned up, nigga. Like, he was the first person that came through and came around that actually listened to what I said step by step. And, you know, it treated this shit serious, but not only that, was very coachable, right? You know, like I said, I gave him the blueprint and he didn't rebuttal, right? He sat back and said, you know what? I don't know anything and he knows everything, right? He just put himself in that position, even though I don't know everything. And obviously he knows stuff too, but that's just how you have to be sometimes when you're getting into something new and you have a mentor trying to instruct you, right? So he put himself in a position where he said, Bray knows everything, I know nothing, I'm gonna listen to him. If it doesn't work, has to be on him, right? And I'm willing to accept that because, like I said, he paid me for service. If I can't deliver the service, that's understandable. So boom, but at the same time, this was my first time trying something like this. So hey, I took it very seriously. I told him, look, you know, if you want to pull up to my crib every morning, door will be unlocked for you. Hey, you know I trade at 9:30. It's up to you. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, boy. He even shifted his schedule. I'm not gonna lie, he was working in the morning, I'm pretty sure, or class or some shit. He switched his schedule to even start pulling up every morning. Start pulling up on me live trading. You know, I'm breaking it down and shit to him, teaching him my strategy. And something that he was doing I really liked as well is that, you know, he was also taking what I'm learning or teaching him, and also learning, you know, putting himself in positions where he can go learn more, right? I give you third-party alternatives, right? I'll give y'all books to read. I'll give y'all some free sauce. Most of y'all don't take it, right? I was teaching him my personal sauce, but also giving out some, you know, some extra sauce. And he was actually, you know, in his free time going out of his way to actually go back test and practice and take notes and learn from the extra sauce. So I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Hey, he had definitely a very, very great start because he even did better than me. And that's, like I said, my goal for y'all is to get to the same success point or even better, but at a much quicker time span, right? So he ended up on his first funded account. Mind you, he wasn't trading on a live account, gaining experience already. No, on his first account, he ended up passing. He ended up passing that account, right? Remember this shit vividly. So we was like, back then, you know, our little friend group and shit back then, we was like, man, are you funded? You know, that was his thing. I'm funded. Every little thing all day that we used to do. We'd buy a water for $1.50. He'd pick up a water and say, oh yeah, y'all want a water? I got y'all, buy us some water. I'm funded, nigga. What y'all want to go to Roof Chris tonight? Nigga, I'm funded, nigga. Like everything, bro. So we was like, you know what? Real traders have iPads. See, nowadays you might want that MacBook. But real traders back then, we had iPads for sure. So what did he do? Got up instantly. Oh yeah, I'm skipping the story a little bit. So boom, he got funded, right? Funded, right? That's where Funded JP came from. Boom. And then he ended up on his, like I said, on his first account, he ended up getting a payout for like $12K, I think, within literally like 2 weeks, bro. Like literally 2 weeks ago, he came to me and gave me his money. Now, 2 weeks later, he literally just made like 12 bands. So he ended up buying a whip back then, quit his job and college. I'm not gonna lie. Now, he did that pretty soon. But like I said, just off of seeing the type of success he had so soon, hey, I get it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I understand where he's coming from. So he ended up changing everything around literally within a month. And at that point, that's when we started clowning him and we said, yeah, if he was a real trader, you'd have an iPad. Bruh, we stopped everything we were doing, got in his car, drove straight to the mall, bought an iPad straight on the spot. He said, what? Oh, no, I'm a real trader. I'm gonna show you niggas. Boom, bought that iPad quick. It's just little shit like that, man. And hey, at that point though, you know what I'm saying? He kept going, he stayed consistent. You know, we just out having fun now. We just out going out at night sometimes when we want to. We got our cars, you know, we riding around the city, you know. People was noticing us, right? Our friends was noticing us, right? Noticing the come up, right? Boom. We had free time, you know, we was going out eating good. Hey, living, right? Staying consistent, doing what we needed to do, right? And it got to the point, hey, more time came around. So what was that? I'm talking about like year 3 right now, right? I guess like helping JP learn, boom, lock in, getting back on my track with my funded, you know, getting back consistent, getting my payouts again. Boom, boom, boom. And after a good, year 4, I guess? Boom. That's when we said, you know what? Hey, it's time, for sure. It's time. People, like I said, the same way JP was coming to me asking for help, people was coming to us asking for help. Like, think about it, truly. Think about if you started turning up, quit your job, quit your college, bought a new car, this and that, and then, you know, me, bought a house, you know what I'm saying, did all that, like, shit. If you was our friend, our family, you would ask too. You know what I'm saying? You'd want to get put on too. And it got to the point where we got friends asking, family asking, and then, you know, I didn't post trading content as far as, you know, how I do now, but I'd post, you know, some charts every now and then, just because it's what I do, right? Same way, you know, people play basketball, they might post when they go to open gym runs. Hey, I'm posting my charts on the beach while I'm, you feel me? Like, I post some little aesthetics, and obviously people was asking, people want help. So what do? lock in, crack down, built the whole A to Z blueprint, launched it out there online for free. Say, hey y'all, look, you can go learn my strategy, learn everything you need, and see that success for free, right? And we've had tons of students do it. But that's when we say, you know what? To get to that next level, obviously, you know, we started a program where we do live trading every morning, 3 to 5 times a week, and then, you know, we do one-on-one mentorship, private coaching calls. You feel me? We'll help structure you a personal trading plan, you know, built specifically for you. Analyze your trades, you know, see why you're actually losing, you know, see how much you're losing, you know, and just fix all your, you know, every trader has their own mistakes that they make. I probably went through it all already and know how to overcome it. If not, then JP has as well, right? So we got to that point where we're credible, right? We've been doing this shit for years. We've been making money for years, right? We're knowledgeable, and we have the blueprint, and we know it's duplicatable as well, because I made the results, he made the results, our first batch of students made their results. So the only thing that would stop you from making the results is really just not following the blueprint and taking initiative. So obviously right here, right now, I would say close this video. Either go to my other videos and start watching and grinding and taking notes right now, or just get off YouTube as a whole, get on the charts, bruh, and lock in.